Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everywhere on social media, @JesterDooms. Go to the website, jestersvoice.com. Leave me an audio message at the top of the page. And congratulations, you made it to Friday, ladies and gentlemen. And it is Friday, Friday the 13th. That's right, February 13th. 2026. Happy Friday the 13th, everyone. You know, most people out there in the world despise Friday the 13th, like it has some kind of bad juju or bad luck. Now, me, I like to prey on other people's emotions, so I embrace Friday the 13th, and I go around reminding everybody that it is Friday the 13th to put that juju in their head for the day that something could happen. And I don't do it for the manifestation of anything. I do it so people are more aware of their environment. So they are more with it. So they keep their head on a swivel. Because if you're aware of it, you don't even think about it. It's always after the fact, right? Like something happens and you look at the date like on a speeding ticket, or you look at the date like on a crash report, or you get that eviction notice or whatever. And it's always like, oh, fuck, that's because it's Friday the 13th. Like, no, it's not. It's 'cause somebody did something stupid and you're just, associating that day with that incident. That's it. That's all it is. That's it. Let's see here. So I hope everybody had a good week this week. Mine was very chaotic, to say the least, and extremely exhausting. I just want to sleep and hibernate like a bear. Like, that's what I am wanting to do. My wife got back in town. This caused me to miss an episode because recording time conflicted with when I had to go to the airport. So I do apologize for that, but producer Scooter was good enough to give you guys a rerun. So you still got something to listen to yesterday, which was absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Producer Scooter. I don't have many plans moving forward into the weekend because we're expecting inclement weather. But I will be live on TikTok tonight. So come over, check me out at Jester_Dooms on the TikTok. Come check me out, hang out in the live, talk some shit with me. That's what we're going to be doing. I have been playing with the idea of going live on Epic Studios, and I've been playing with the idea of doing some YouTube lives, and I've also been playing with the idea of trying to rekindle the Clapper lives. Okay, I've been playing with all three of these ideas to branch out more other than just TikTok. Okay, now there was a time I would go live on two devices and do live on Clapper and live on TikTok. And at that time, it was like, with our averages, it was like really good numbers. Okay. Those days have since kind of came and gone. And I really don't have an interest on being live on multiple platforms or, trying to, essentially trying to make that happen and read two screens and do the whole thing. But I think that I may have hit a point where I'm wanting the live audience growth with social media, trying to get back what I once had. That's kind of been the goal for the last past year here. And the numbers are slowly coming back. People that were there are slowly coming back around now that I know I'm doing consistent lives again. And I think that it was just such a long hiatus of just not being around and not being on and not being live. People just forgot the community. They forgot what we had built. It all got forgotten, So I am trying to work on bringing back the community with bringing new people in and making the community bigger and stronger. And in doing that, I think it's going to take branching out to multiple platforms and going where there's the most traction. If I'm averaging 1 to 2 to 3 people on Epic, there's no point of being there. Okay. If I'm doing the same thing on Clapper, there's no point of being there. If I'm not getting pushed out on the FYP of TikTok, there's no point of being there. If I'm starting off with good numbers in YouTube and they're slowly dwindling down, there's no point of being there. Right. So it's kind of, I think, going to take some experimentation again and try to kind of see what happens because these algorithms have drastically changed so much. But I think I say all that to say that that's what I think I'm going to do over the weekend. So just make sure you're following on all social media platforms to get those updates of when we go live. Okay. Yeah, that's about it. Had a fantastic day with my wife yesterday when she got back. Got to pretty much spend all day together. We got to bump uglies. That's good. So it was definitely a good day. I don't mind when my wife leaves town and takes the kids because it takes a lot of responsibility off me and I could just kind of do what I want and run free and climb trees and dig in the dirt and things. But when it's like I have the kids, it's like, well, now I have her job, my job, and this extra responsibility. Okay. And I mean, I love my kids. I would do anything for my kids, but at the same time, it's like, you little crotch goblins, you get kind of annoying and I need a break. I need some me time. So I find myself escaping a lot just doing mind numbing tasks, or I find myself playing like stupid games on my phone um, to try to just like let my mind go free. Right. And I got sucked into this game over the week, this stupid game, man, where there's a dragon and a kitten, and your goal is to save the kitten, and you're shooting these missiles out of these boxes that are like locked in, and you got to like get them out in a certain order. So I've been trying to save the kitten all week, man. That's what I've that's what I've been doing to try to get over this like 24/7 dadding 24/7 fatherly responsibilities. Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages.
Can't get enough of Jester Dooms? Check out his other show, It's Doomsday Podcast, available on all podcast platforms. That's It's Doomsday Podcast.
Back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. If you're not following the show, make sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe. Give me my IRL once a week. That 1 week in real life interaction where you tell a friend, family member, coworker, dog, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle about the Doom Daily Show. That's how we're going to get the listeners up. That's how we're going to get the listener numbers up, ladies and gentlemen. And this means more for you as a listener. The more listeners we have, the more it gets promoted, the more it gets out there, the more we're encouraged to do a better show. And this can generate some revenue. And when that generates revenue, we can do really cool things like giveaways and sponsored discounts and all these things. So make sure you're pushing it out for us on your social media, wherever it is you listen. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Interaction is key with these things. So it is drastically important that you interact, and that's not hard to do depending on what platform you're on. Okay. I know we actually have dedicated listeners on Podbean that listen through the Podbean platform. And if you're one of those people that listen on the Podbean, like an episode and leave a comment on an episode. You can comment on almost every episode, I think. Pretty sure you can leave a comment on every episode. So if you do that, that really helps us with interaction. Okay. Moving forward. So I wanted to get, for the first segment of the show, I wanted to get into the homestead stuff. First thing we did yesterday morning was I started teaching my wife how to hook up the water transfer pump that takes water from our shallow well to our holding tank. Okay. And I'm going to walk her through this a few times and then ask her to demonstrate this to me. Like, how do you hook this up? How do you do this? Like, show me the process. All right. And I think this is going to be step one in the things that we do around here. This is going to be step one. Okay. Step one, learn how to transfer water, because that's going to be the biggest thing is learning to transfer the water. Okay. And keeping the water moving on the property, which it's only a chore right now because it's winter. This is not a chore in the summer. We have to go through extra precautionary measures so water lines don't freeze on the property when temperatures get below 32 degrees. So that's why we do what we do. In other homestead related things, we have made some headway. And I think that maybe my tactic with the contractor worked out of saying, hey, inspector's coming Monday. We got to have things done, man. I sent him a message yesterday morning and I said, hey, I know you're not planning on being here today, but I just want to confirm that for sure kind of thing. Don't get a response, doesn't say anything, no response. Then he just shows up and starts doing stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not even going to bother him. I'm not even going to go outside. I don't even want to let him know I'm home. So he sends me a text message yesterday evening saying, hey, we got pretty far. He said, we got pretty far today, blah, blah, blah. And I need you to pick up a couple things so we can move forward. I gave him a call. I said, okay, man. Went and picked up the extra stuff he needs. And it's looking like, hopefully, it's looking like we will be done with his portion of things and ready for inspection by Monday, which is absolutely 100% fan-fucking-tastic. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more excited. And then if everything goes according to plan and weather doesn't go to absolute skata, we should be back pouring our concrete block, pouring our cells with concrete, hopefully by the end of the week. A few days after that, well, immediately after that, pretty much 24 hours after that, I could start prepping and getting ready for the ground sealing, getting ready to seal the ground, or ready to seal the concrete, do the waterproofing, things like that. Once that is completed, once that project is completed of sealing everything and getting that all squared away, I could pretty much start backfilling and running drainage like immediately. And the goal is to have that done before March 1st, right? That is the goal. Okay. When March 1st rolls around, everything needs to be done on the high side of the foundation so the companies that's coming out could start doing the grading and doing the things that are needed and necessary. March 4th is going to roll around. I'm going to have a friend in town helping me do homestead stuff, working on different things on the property, mainly the campground on the property. And I plan on moving these machines down over the hill. And when they get moved down over the hill, they will kind of remain there while my friend is in town until we're done with said projects down at the campground. I think it's only fair to assume my friend's only going to be in town for 2 weeks, so we may not get everything done. Okay. I think that's a pretty fair, assessment to say that, we're obviously not going to get everything done, not everything that we want to do. So with that being said, hopefully we make a shit ton of headway, but I couldn't be happier with where we're at right now on this project moving forward. And I couldn't be happier with the tactic that worked of saying, hey, Mr. Contractor, man, this guy's going to be here. So I need you to get your portion done by this day. And I think moving forward, this is going to be the tactic, not, hey, I've got about a week. Hey, I've got about 2 weeks. Hey, I've got 3 days. Hey, I need this done by this time. I think it's, has to be done by this date because somebody is coming to see it. And I think this might be my tactic moving forward with absolutely everything. Okay. I think that's going to be the overall plan because it worked and it was a great success. Very, very happy that plan did work out and come to fruition because I was literally getting ready to pull my hair out. Okay. And I know a lot of people, they do these home renovation projects and stuff like that, but it's very hard to deal with this level of frustration for me for how long this project has been going on. Okay. I've been posting about this project on social media for months. We should have been done by December 1st, and we were not. So we are now approximately 3 months behind schedule. Okay. So that's very frustrating for me. But anyway, we'll be right back after these messages.
Jester from It's Doomsday Podcast and the Doom Daily Show here. Do you ever find yourself overloaded with way too much information? Too many logins, too many passwords, too many websites for stuff you like? Yeah, I'm the same way. You don't have to worry about that with the Doom Daily Show and It's Doomsday Podcast. Let's make it simple. Just visit linktree.com/JesterDooms. Add it to your bookmarks. That way, when you need to find the right information, it's right there, under a tap of your finger or a click of your mouse. Go to linktree.com/JesterDooms. Get it, got it, done. Remember, no one has all the answers, but this will provide you with a place to start. Linktree.com/Jester Dooms. And now, on with the conversation. And here's Jester.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms, the email doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everyone on social media @Jester Dooms. Go to the website, jestersvoice.com. Leave us an audio message on the website. Okay, article here on the Epic Times. Dawson's Creek star James Vanderbeek dies after cancer battle. I wanted to cover this earlier in the week, but again, we missed an episode. Dawson's Creek star James Vanderbeek has died at the age of 48. Our beloved James David Vanderbeek passed peacefully this morning, his family announced on Instagram February 11th. The award-winning actor announced that he had stage 3 cancer in November of 2024. He met his final days with courage, faith, and grace, the family continued. There is much to share regarding his wishes, love for humanity, and the sacredness of time. Those days will come. For now, we ask for peaceful privacy as we grieve our loving husband, father, son, brother, and friend. Vanderbeek is survived by his wife, Kimberly, and 6 children. A GoFundMe was set up to help his family pay for medical bills. The cost of James' medical care and the extended fight against cancer have left the family out of funds, the GoFundMe page says. They're working hard to stay in their home and to ensure the children can continue their education and maintain some stability during this incredible, difficult time. The fundraiser raised over $120,000 in 1 hour after the family announced Vanderbeek's death. Vanderbeek rose to stardom as a teenage heartthrob in the 1990s after starring on the hit coming-of-age drama Dawson's Creek alongside actors Katie Holmes, Michelle Williams, and Joshua Jackson. After the popular WB drama ended after 6 seasons, Vanderbeek continued acting in roles on How I Met Your Mother, Friends with Better Lives, and even starred as fictionalized versions of himself on the ABC sitcom Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. His Apartment 23 co-star, Kristen Ritter, shared a photo of the actors together on Instagram with the caption, "Really hard news today," with heartbreak and crying emojis. Other celebrity tributes quickly poured in on Wednesday afternoon. Actress Sarah Michelle Gellar posted a tribute on her Instagram story and called him one of the good guys. "This is a true loss," Gellar wrote. Actor Chad Michael Murray commented on the Instagram post to pay his respects, "Sending love and light to your beautiful family," Murray wrote. "James was a giant. We're so sorry for what you were going through." His words, art, and humanitarian inspired all of us. He inspired us to be better in all ways. God bless you guys. Okay, so that's the article in its entirety on the Epic Times. Guys, I'll tell you, Vanderbeek, for me, I didn't become a fan of his from watching Dawson's Creek. Okay, I never saw it. But what I did see, what was a very popular movie back in the day, was Varsity Blues. Okay, and that's where I first discovered the Beak, was Varsity Blues. Okay, now, the interesting thing about Varsity Blues is we've lost 3 of the top actors that were in that film now. We lost James Vanderbeek, Ron Lester, and Paul Walker. And it didn't really click, to me today until I saw a photo circulated on the internet with the Varsity Blues, one of their cover photos for the film, with Paul Walker's character, or Paul Walker, Ron Lester, and James Vanderbeek in black and white while the other characters were in color. And that really hit. It really hit hard because that's that was like a prime time in cinema and a prime time of coming of age. These were those coming of age movies, and it was a very big blow to come to that conclusion when, you go back and you watch Varsity Blues. And I think that's such a relatable movie to most people, especially in this country with how popular football is. And then, pressure of parents, high school drama, like everybody can relate to that in some capacity, being the outcast or whatever it may be. That movie covers a lot of those bases. If you're the fat guy, you can relate. If you're the jock, you can relate. If you're the kid that's pressured by your parents, you can relate. Like everybody can relate to this. So it's just it's a big blow, knowing that these cast members are all passing on. as time slowly creeps by. It's very, very disheartening. Anyway, another small role he did was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. If you remember, they came in, him and I think it was Jason. Was it Jason Biggs? I think was in it. They came in to play the portrayal of the actors that were acting as Jay and Silent Bob in the fake movie of the movie. So it's a good time, man. For those who don't know, I absolutely love my pop culture. You know, I like my movies, I like my shows, I like trivia in regards to these things. It's a good time for me, right? But anyway, one more actor that was good in Hollywood is now gone, and as certain things and come to light within media specifically, we're discovering what kind of big pieces of shit most of these actors are. Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, producer Scooter here. And if you've made it this far, I just want to commend you for diligent listening skills. But also, I want you to take a moment, since you've come this far with us, send an email to doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Let us know where you're listening from. If you have any ideas for something you'd like Jester to address or talk about, send us an email. That's doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Thanks for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everyone on social media @Jester Dooms. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show. Check out the website, jestersvoice.com, and make sure to, send us an audio message on there. All right. And another article on the Epic Times here by Travis Gilmore. EPA rescinds Obama-era finding that serves as basis for climate regulation. On the Epic Times, President Donald Trump and Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Lee Zeldin on February 12th announced the elimination of a 2009 finding that serves as the basis of U.S. action to regulate greenhouse gas emissions. Effective immediately, we are repealing the ridiculous endangerment finding and terminating all additional green emission standards imposed unnecessarily on vehicle models and engines between 2012 and 2027 and beyond, Trump said during an event at the White House. These crippling restrictions were a major factor in driving up car prices to unprecedented levels, and the car that you were getting was not nearly as good. Leaders rescind the agency's endangerment finding from 2009 established under the Obama administration, which declared that 6 gases, carbon dioxide, hydrofluorocarbons, methane, nitrous oxide, perfluorocarbons, and sulfur hexafluoride pose a danger to public health. Ladies and gentlemen, every single thing that we take from a solid to a gaseous state it's a potential health risk, right? So I don't care if you're burning wood in your fireplace. It's not good to breathe that smoke in. I don't care if you light a cigarette. It's not good to breathe that smoke in. You're not obviously going to go suck on the exhaust of a car, okay? And then the other thing that it goes back to as well is, we have to use a shit ton of fossil fuels for everything we're doing on this planet, and they contaminate it regardless, okay? So just let that all just kind of sink in, all right? Leaders rescinded the agency's endanger finding from 2009. We got through that. The EPA's 2009 ruling concluded that the gases endangered current and future public health and contributed to climate change. Subsequent regulations based on the finding include vehicle emission standards, the Clean Power Plan, and other limits on methane and gas. The determination had no basis in fact, none whatsoever, and it had no basis in law, Trump said, emphasizing the role of fossil fuels play in the energy production worldwide. Yet, this ridiculous rule became the legal foundation for the Green New Scam, which the Obama and Biden administration used to destroy countless jobs. Officials adopted the regulation following a 2007 Supreme Court ruling in Massachusetts versus EPA, which held that greenhouse gases constitute air pollution and directed the EPA to assess their potential effects on public health. Trump called it a disastrous Obama-era policy that severely damaged the American auto industry and massively drove up prices. Vehicle cost increased by approximately 22% under the Biden administration without achieving any meaningful impact on the environment, but making the cars worse, Trump said. Administration officials labeled the policy decision as historic. This will be the largest deregulatory action in American history, and it will save the American people $1.3 trillion in crushing regulations, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters during a briefing on February 10th. Savings are expected to come from lower automobile costs, she said, with reductions averaging about $2,400 per vehicle. Trump said the change will benefit consumers by improving the quality of vehicles produced in the country, by eliminating the federal government's pressure on manufacturers to implement climate-related features. You're going to get a better car, a car that starts easier, a car that works better for far less money, he said. Removing the endangerment rule is a central component of Trump's deregulation strategy, which also seeks to mitigate the economic impact of Clean Air Act's greenhouse gas standards. The president tackled the issue on his first day back in office, signing an executive order titled Unleashing American Energy and directing Zeldin to review the ruling. Zeldin said the endangerment finding was referred to by some as the holy grail of federal regulatory overreach. Officials prioritized dismantling climate change-related guidelines. They said they were limiting business opportunities and raising consumer prices. Alongside President Trump, we're living up to our promise to unleash American energy, lower costs for Americans, revitalize the American auto industry, and work hand in hand with our own state partners to advance our shared mission, Zeldin said in a March 2025 statement. Trump rolled back dozens of energy and climate regulations in his first term. The carbon footprint is a hoax made up by people with evil intentions, and they're heading down a path of total destruction, he told the UN General Assembly in September of 2025. The entire globalist concept of asking successful industrialized nations to inflict pain on themselves and radically disrupt their entire societies must be rejected completely and totally, and it must be eliminated. Now, there's a little bit more that goes on in this article if you guys want to take the time to, jump on the Epic Times and read that. But however, here's the thing, and this is where my mind goes back to. Okay, we all know that climate change is more or less a hoax. When you crunch the data and you do the numbers, the electric cars are actually worse to drive. Okay, things like regen and things like DEF are a hoax, a scam. This is the equivalent of buying premium air for your car tires. Okay, you wouldn't do that. Air is air, right? This is almost the same thing as buying nitrogen for your car tires. I got into a debate over the nitrogen in the car tires, and it's basically a scam. It's something to upsell you. The air in your tires is fine. Constant pressure regulation does not matter in a car tire. Okay, and they will tell you, well, your tire pressure sensors and da. They work with air too, man. You might see a change in the winter because temperatures drop. That's it. If that's the case, double check your pressures are correct. Ignore that sensor. It's not a hard thing to do. Vehicle costs have been on the rise, and I've been waiting to see them kind of level out, but it seems like they just keep going up. Like whenever I see a truck for sale that I would like to have and it costs more than the first home I purchased, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't justify that. And I'll never be able to. And guys, like the automotive industry fluctuates a lot. Okay, I'm going to take you guys back like 20 years. Do you guys remember the cash for clunkers deals? And do you remember like $10,000 off a brand new Dodge Ram truck? Do you know the people that bought those trucks, when they wanted to trade them in, they were extremely upside down? It was bad. And that's what they do. They want to keep the economy going. They need tax dollars to do that. So they simply shift and fluctuate vehicle things throughout, every 10 years or so is what they do. They want you to get out of your old gas-guzzling piece of shit to get into an economy car when prices of gas go up. And then when prices of gas go down, they come out with all these fancy sports cars that are running V8s or these big, awesome, brand new truck models. And they're like, get out of that thing. We'll give you a bunch of cash for it. And, get into this brand new one with all this interest rate and brand new taxes to pay. And then some time goes by, gas goes back up. Hey, this is bad for the environment, blah, blah, blah. You need to go back and you need to get an economy car. But you know what we need from you? We need more tax dollars and we need more interest. And that's how they'll do it, because they'll put you in anything you fucking want. Damn near. As long as you got the credit score to support it, you could buy anything you don't need. Anyway, It's amazing how that works, isn't it? Again, ladies and gentlemen, through kid glasses. Anyway, we'll be back Monday with another exciting episode of the Doom Daily Show. Everybody, I hope you have a great weekend. Producer Scooter, thank you for everything it is that you do. And we'll see you guys Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.